Chapter 6. Brindlepaw stepped into the medicine cat den, vines drooping above her head. Violet-tail sat in a nest with Tacklefoot sitting close to his collection of herbs, speaking to her. They stopped as Brindlepaw walked closer into view, herbs visible in her jaw. "Ah, Brindlepaw, just in time." Tacklefoot spoke with happiness in his tone. His fur smelled slightly of dandelions and cut grass, most likely from that morning of collecting cobwebs near the two-league place. "What is Violet-tail doing here, Tacklefoot? She's not sick, I hope?" Brindlepaw asked, her tail flicking as the vines brushed against her fur, and the wind carried the scent of water into the den. "She's not ill, she's expecting." Tacklefoot purred happily as he began to organize the herbs that Brindlepaw had brought, small leaves and twigs sticking to his tail fur. "Oh, congratulations, Violet-tail," Brindlepaw purred as she raised her head and tail, smiling at the queen, her fur curling around her ears as the wind picked up outside. Emberpaw trotted into the windy clearing, seeing Firestar talking with Ash Spot, the medicine cat, and talking with Ash Spot and the medicine cat Cherryvine about how to reinforce the barriers around camp to keep the clearing from blowing away. "Another windy, boring day," said a soft-spoken brown Tom named Swiftpaw. "Yeah, like all the other days," Emberpaw mewed back, her fur blowing in the heavy wind, partially cupping her face, making her visibly annoyed. FireClan was always windy, but this was a more annoying wind than the usual, meaning a storm was most likely coming, which will cause StormClan to stray a bit into FireClan, as they always did when the tide got high, even for them to handle. FireClan doesn't have a particularly good relationship with StormClan, but they're willing to allow them to stray into the territory as long as they don't stay too long for it to cause damage to any resources. All cats who were old enough to leave the camp gather from patrols, yelled Ash Spot, her fur looking bristled from afar due to the wind messing it up. Emberpaw walked up and sat next to her mentor, Yellowglance, and the other apprentices, Swiftpaw and Bitterpaw, along with their mentors, Whitetuft and Bloodpool. Swiftpaw and Whitetuft go on a hunting patrol. Bitterpaw and Bloodpool go on a border patrol to the north, keep an eye out for StormClan. And lastly, Emberpaw and Yellowglance go on a border patrol to the east, keep an eye out for Ice Clan cats. Patrols dismissed. Ash Spot stood after speaking and headed to Fire Meadow and Flamescar. Seemed that they were still discussing Black Moon's appearance at the latest gathering with Ice Clan. Emberpaw stood, gathering herself to head onto her patrol with Yellowglance. They crept through the sandy tunnel, leaving camp, and started heading towards Ice Clan. The more wet grass and humid air told Emberpaw that the storm was getting closer, and they needed to go through their patrol quickly. Right as they were getting ready to leave, Emberpaw found footprints near where some of the snow was still fighting to stay in the corners. Something about the scent was familiar to Emberpaw, but she couldn't place where she had smelled that scent before. But she knew one thing: it was from Ice Clan.